Getting a Job by Ian Milos.
And Brian Zimmer.
Job interview tips. Basically some simple tips to go along with before and while you're in the interview. Do some homework, basically find out about the job so you can impress whoever is interviewing you. Be on time. If you show up late, they're going to think that you're going to show up late to work, and most likely they would not like to see that. Wear appropriate clothing, dress basically business appropriate. Don't wear like shorts and a t-shirt and try to impress them. Put your best foot forward, always talk about the positives. Ask questions about the job, basically to see that you show them that you're interested and want to know more about what you can possibly be doing if you get the job. Ask about the next step, basically after the interview process, what can you do to get closer to getting the job, and basically asking what you would do if you get that job. And don't expect an answer right away. It takes time that they have to go over, not just you but every other potential future employee, and see who's best for the job.
Interviewing for jobs. After you have found a job open and filled out an application and sent your cover letter and resume, an employer may call you for an interview. A job interview is a face-to-face discussion between an employer and a potential employee. Employers use interviews to make hiring decisions. It's important to do well in an interview. You can do well in an interview if you prepare right. Research your company and prepare answers to common interview questions. Think of questions to ask the interview. Practice your interviewing skills.
Cover letter. A cover letter tells the employer about you and why you are applying for a job. As with your resume, your cover letter also needs to make a good first impression without, again, physically seeing you. It's basically supposed to tell them why you want the job and what your qualifications are. It should be formatted and error-free. If they see any errors on it, they're most likely going to throw it in the trash can, seeing how you didn't review your work and check over to see if it was 100% correct. And the job application, it's a printed sheet with blank spaces that you'll fill in to apply for the job, which goes along with your cover letter. And employment testing, when applying for a job, you may be asked to take a test, which to see what your required skills are. Basically, again, going along with your cover letter, seeing if you're true to what you're saying in both your resume and cover letter. They're going to test you and see if you're up for the job.
Contacting potential employers. Once you have prepared a resume and found an interesting job, you can tailor your resume and then start the applying process. The process of applying for a job can include submitting a cover letter, filling out a job application, taking an employment test, and being interviewed.
Preparing your resume. A resume is a summary of your skills, education, and work experience. Your resume, it tells an employer what you can offer as a worker. Basically, it again shows your skills, education, and what you've done in the past that can help them with their opening of a job. And its purpose is to persuade potential employers to interview you. And your resume gives an employer his or her first impression of you without physically seeing you or getting to know you basically as a person, but on paper. And resumes typically have 5 parts, which consist of the heading, job objective, skill summary, work experience, and your education. Beginning your job search. When beginning to search for a job, you want to look at what you value and what is important to you. You don't want to get a job that you don't like, and you will be very angry when you go to work every day going to that job that you don't like. And for instance, the old saying is, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And the way to search for a job would be on the internet, for instance, like social media devices as Facebook and Twitter, and also on YouTube. And you find out what makes you qualified and skills you need. When searching, you're not going to apply for a job that you're not going to be successful at. To basically look for what is your strengths, and go from there. And you got to assess the job market and see what's available.
Character and personality. Employees value and want to be able to see hard work, honesty, dependability, and the ability to finish what you started. Employees learn about these traits in many ways by body language. Often says more about you than spoken and written words. They can tell if you're nervous, if you are calm, by your posture, eye contact, facial expressions, and gestures. They want to be able to see how you do in school, check your grades to see if you're trying, and the extra activities you do after school to see what kind of things interest you, and to see if you have any leadership roles. And your overall impression, a good first impression, increases your chance of getting hired.
Knowing what employers want and need. Businesses and nonprofits need all kind of workers to perform different tasks. They're going to hire people for what they are qualified to do and not obviously what they won't be successful in. An example would be a hospital. A hospital needs doctors, nurses, cooks, janitors, supervisors, and an administrator. And for instance, a cook will not be hired to do a doctor's job and vice versa. And each of these jobs carries tasks and a certain level of responsibility. A janitor in a hospital wouldn't be as an important job as a doctor in a hospital, so a janitor is pretty fillable, but doctors would be obviously a higher level of responsibility. And each also requires a different level and type of skills, and you need to know what empowers, want, and need in an employee. Finding a job, once you know what you want to do, take the next step and find a job. Go out there, basically look for what appeals to you and what you think you'd like to do, and don't obviously just get a job to get a job just for money. You want to kind of look at what you're qualified to do. And while searching, you learn more about the various qualities employers look for in employees. So you want to basically show a potential employer what your strengths are to the company and what you can provide if you were to be hired there.
Your qualifications and skills. Qualifications for a job may vary depending on the job. Different jobs ask for different levels of education, basic skills, and work experience. The higher education you had, more likely you are to get a job. Levels of education vary from high school diploma to master's degree. The basic skills that most jobs want you to have is mathematical problem-solving skills, communicating with others, and computer skills. The more work experience you have, the most likely you are to get a job. Employability skills are basic skills that you need to get a job, keep a job, and do well at a job.